How we doing, everybody? We're on camera. Thank you very much for joining us here for the Ravori Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content as well. Thank all now 100 of you that are watching us on YouTube all over every Wednesday for our podcast. We are extremely grateful. This is now we're finishing our third football season today. So definitely after the Super Bowl, this is the conclusion of the third football season. So we're incredibly grateful to all of you out there that are taking part of your day, especially today, unofficial national holiday here to watch Ravori Sports Podcast. Raven season obviously didn't go the way we had hoped. For all of us you watching on the Ravori Sports, especially even you driving to the top people that are watching this, but we're here. It's Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to go over the game today. Obviously, we're going to do an old school tail of the tape as well. Plus, we're going to answer some other questions going into the offseason as well before the game starts as well. So definitely like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. That includes Drawing to the Top Productions as well. Go ahead. You watching right there. You right there with the Doritos in your hand right there. You with the face. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button right now as well. So you could go ahead and tell everybody you know that Driving to the Top also is multi-sports platform. Okay. So definitely too, you're going to get a little football, you're going to get a little baseball, you're going to get a little Baltimore, you're going to get a little Pittsburgh, you're going to get Cleveland, you're going to get a lot of different things. You're going to get Buffalo, Georgia Bulldogs, etc. So those are some of the shows that we have. So definitely check all that out as well. Ravori Sports Podcast.company.site. Definitely too. We just did a video on that, the rebrand that we have going on. Definitely check that out. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. Those of you who are looking for Legal Shield, absolutely give us a call here as well. Best way to find that is Harris. Put in my last name, Harris Legal Shield on Facebook, and you definitely can check that out. And of course, you people in the Shenandoah Valley area, Notary Services, Genesis Notary Services, absolutely check that out as well. If you are in the Shenandoah Valley, absolutely give us a call. And so is bad in a lot of places. So definitely, absolutely stay warm out there. I've seen like this weather. I don't know about all of you guys. I'm over it. Tired of snow. Tired of looking at snow. Got upset because somebody brought up snow in church today. I've had enough. So we don't. I don't need any more snow. I don't like it anymore. I've had enough now. So that's why a lot of it we're going to stay in and watch a little football as well as we're going to finish the football season here as well. One second here, trying to get some more people to watch. Putting some hashtags in on the Twitter feed here. And we're going to do the tail of the tape here in a second. All right. Thank you for your indulgence with that out there, all of you watching. All right. So let's get to it. The game is coming up today. So I don't know about y'all. I'm in no more mood for Patriots Dynasty. Another one. I don't want to see that either. Same way I've had enough of this snow. I've had enough of the Patriots Dynasty, which may be starting today if they are successful. These two teams here that we're going to get, I think, are indeed mirror images of each other. Last year we had the Chefs and the Eagles. I thought there were two different dynamics, two different places. This two teams this year, the Seahawks and the Patriots, I think it's like looking in the mirror, each other. Very similar coaches, fairly new, very good defensive coaches, um, strengths, quarterbacks, young, haven't really been in this position before, kind of do things as a whole team, not a star, not a real star system that either one of these coaches have or promote. Defensive emphasis, obviously, with the two defensive coaches, some of the, even the same strengths and weaknesses. So we'll go over a lot of that. So, but again, of the tape. All right. So let's look at the two quarterbacks here. The headlining Drake May finished second in the MVP voting just this last week to Matt Stafford. Congratulations to Matt Stafford winning his first NFL MVP. Also, too, on the other side, Sam Darnold. All the jokes are over with Darnold. I don't want to hear it anymore. This guy has taken his team to the Super Bowl. So a former Hurley first round pick. All the talk of Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, all those guys in that draft. The first one here is Sam Darnold, guy that was considered a bust and all these other things, taking his team to the Super Bowl as well. I don't think he's quite as good as Drake May is. I think May actually, his touch on the ball is phenomenal. That's a personal thing. I like quarterbacks. That's the thing I liked about Tony Romo and Drew Brees, whatever. They throw catchable balls, touch on the hands as well. I think the better quarterback in this is Drake May, but not by a lot. Darnold, I think, is more of a gambler as well. So I think that could be coming into an issue when you have a really good defense like this. So I'm going to take Drake May a little bit over Sam Darnold, but not much at all as well. Running games, both of these two teams with solid running games. Kenneth Walker for the Seattle Seahawks is the main guy as well. They don't really bell count as much as you think he's an injury. A guy who's had to sit out with some injuries, but definitely he's their main guy. I think that's the only thing that's stopping him from really being top flight back in the NFL. But that's, that happens a lot with Seahawks also on their team. Cam Akers, George Halani. They do run a fullback, Robbie out. I think the running game is more ingrained, though, in the fabric of the team than New England is as well. So I do think that's an actual thing there as well. New England, I think they have a decent running game. Ramondre Stevenson, issue with fumbles throughout his career. So he's still listed at the starter. I think the guy you really need to worry about is Travian Henderson. Henderson, I think, is one of the better running backs, I think, going forward in the league as well. I'm definitely going to take Seattle again. I definitely take, if I'm looking at just the run game as well, more power in the backfield, big fullback. I definitely like the Seahawks as far as the running game over New England. Again, not a great big margin, though, as well. This is, look, for those of you yet, and I know Seattle is on the West Coast, for those of you who have not seen their wide receiver, Jackson Smith and Nick, I mean, you are in for a treat today. This guy is blazing speed. One thing people don't understand always, when you get to the NFL level, a lot of the quarterbacks are faster than wide receivers are. This is why you don't see wide receivers really running that far away from quarterbacks as often, because they're faster. They need to be faster, right? So you need the DB to be faster than the wide receiver, because the wide receiver knows what he's going to do, knows what he's moving, and that DB needs an extra half a step to anticipate and move with them and however the guy's moving. So, and that's a real thing. So that's something as well. But this guy, Jackson Smith Enigma, runs past people all the time. That tells you how fast he moves as well. So that's an actual thing as well. He's worth the price of admission. Those of you watching this game today, at home, or if you're buying tickets. This guy is really, I don't know, well, maybe not Super Bowl prices, very expensive, but definitely he's worth it as well. Upcoming free agent, Rashid Shaheed, Cooper Kupp is there. Two good veterans to go ahead compliment them. New England, led by former Terp Stephon Diggs. Diggs really has been more than they realized, I think. A guy kind of seen as a little bit past his prime, not a lot of offers. Went to New England, I thought, in part because of the lack of offers and a chance to be a number one kind of mentor, a young quarterback as well. And he's done a fine job, I think, as well. This is really a better overall receiving group, though, I think, than the Seahawks. Mac Hollins has been really good for them. Keyshawn Butte as well. They've been getting that. They've been getting catches from Kyle Williams. I do think, and even though we're talking about wide receivers here, I do think their running back group is better at catching the ball out of the backfield. You'll see more of that, catching at short passes as well. This is totally even, I think, as well. I think this would be totally even, would be totally even if it wasn't for the guy on the screen, Jackson Smith Enigma. I think he's top 10 wide receiver now, I think, in the NFL. No question about it. I'm telling you, he's blown me away every time I've seen him. That's how good of a player he is as well. Hunter Henry for the New England Patriots on one side, and A.J. Brenner. Very similar here. Not a lot of offense when you talk about these tight ends. So neither one of these teams, I think, has a top-tier tight end. Brenner, I think, is decent enough in the red zone. I think there's a guy they're going to look for in those situations. Their number one receiver is a little bit smallish. So I do think that's a thing. Having him in the red zone, I think you're definitely going to look for that today as well. Hunter Henry, I think, has been a veteran receiver for a long time, decent enough. I think he's definitely their fourth option as well. Good blockers as well. Definitely going to give a slight edge to New England here, but again, not a lot of offense per se from the tight ends. Both teams could use a tight end upgrade as well. Fine. Interesting here. So I do think this is fascinating that both teams, you look at one team here, you really get a team to a Super Bowl as well with two offensive lines that are big questionable, in my opinion. Let's start with the Seahawks here. Seahawks, I think it was a question for a while whether they could fix it. I do think their left side is really, really good. Charles Cross, I think, coming in for them, being healthy, I think that's a real big deal. I think he's very solid as long as he's been healthy as well. Grace Abel from the draft, I think, definitely really helps that left side. That's what they do a lot of their run game on that left side. So I do think that's a big deal, getting those guys. Rest of it is kind of questionable. I kind of question the rest of those guys there. When you talk about when you're talking about Jalen Sundin, Anthony Bradford, Abraham, and not so much the Josh Jones off the bench. I don't know. I think they're getting enough though. I do think they are better here than New England as far as that goes. New England definitely would draft heavy left side. Will Campbell, Jared Wilson as well. Bradbury, I think, is their best guy. Onuwatu, I think, is good at right guard as well. So they're a little stronger on the right side of the middle there with those guys. Good old friend former Raven Morgan Moses, decent vet here as well. But I think one reason why the run games of these two teams haven't exploded as much as these coaches want is the offensive line protection isn't there. I'm going to take Seattle a slight edge over New England because of the left side. I really do like the left side of New England. I think that's it. They have decent guards, I think, as well. Not terrible lines, but not a strength in any sense. I think the defensive lines that we're going to talk about here are definitely a force multiplier here in this game as well. Seahawks defensive line. I think this is the beaten potatoes and everything else that are going with it. DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Murphy, Leonard Williams, Nawatsu on the defensive line as well. Jalen Reed, William Mafe. They're about 6 deep on this offensive line, on this defensive line for the Seahawks that really bring it as well. Did anybody think that Marcus Lawrence would be this good? Like, that's a real big surprise as well. Leonard Williams, I've been saying it for you. This guy's a stud. I think there's no question about it. When they got him from the Giants, there's no doubt about this guy. You better have 2 guys to go ahead and block him. Very underrated defensive player. Byron Murphy. I mean, they're good. This is a probably as good of a as far as you look at 5-6 guys in the defensive line. I think this is about as good as it is in the NFL. Big reason why they're in the Super Bowl is the constant pressure. Mike McDonald has been able to get the defensive line as good as they have been here so far at the start. New England Patriots. Look, New England, this is like, and I know Belichick's the name, Mike Vrabel necessarily doesn't want to hear, but this is kind of what we have. This is kind of, in a way, what you are getting with them in terms of that. Not known names like that in general, but a good, solid defensive group when you talk about up front with New England. Where's my screen? 1 second. So good. I'm sorry about that. All right, so we're back. Good solid group with the Pats. I think the Pats up front as well. I think I said at the beginning of the year where I think like right away something Ravori was going to turn around was the defense right away. I thought their defense was going to be a top 10 defense as well. Christian Barrymore and Milton Williams are outstanding players that nobody talks about. Milton Williams had a good year last year, helping get the Eagles to the Super Bowl, and they're kind of getting the cap. Missed some games with injury. I think that's concern for Christian Barrymore. I think is terrific. Is a terrific player. PFF grades and all that, not as great as people think. These 2 guys are outstanding, I think, up front, along with Kyrus Tanger. I think one of the better guys, again, outstanding player that nobody talks about as well. Not as good, I don't think, as the Seahawks as well. Simple because I think more the Seahawks, because of all the depth that they have. New England doesn't quite, I don't think, have the depth there that the Seahawks do. But I think it's outstanding on both sides. Talk about the offensive line. Talk about the linebacking core. Again, Patriots more of that 3-4, more familiar with Vrabel has done in a lot of places he's been. More traditional 4-man line for Mike McDonald running that as well. Their linebacking core, I think, again, is very, very underrated. Spillane, I think they'll have today, despite the injury I think he got in the last game as well. Kavion Chasen, very, very good stuff. Set the edge guy. Definitely a guy you talk about setting the edge, obviously, as well. Harold Landry, I think, big surprise, I think, our pass rushers edge over the last few years. I definitely think as well. I think he had like 8.5 sacks this year. Definitely a guy understands. Mike Vrabel knows exactly what he's getting as well. They're tricky though. They kind of, it's not just all, but it's not just all pass rush upfield. They run a lot of stunts. They run a lot of stuff like that. So as well, comparing it to the offensive to the linebackers of the Seahawks, Ernest Jones is fantastic as well at middle linebacker as well. So they don't run as many linebackers on the field. They play a lot of DBs as well. Ernest Jones led by that. They're almost Drake there as well. Definitely got to give the edge here. So again, we're going back and forth, right? So edge defensive line, Seattle, edge linebacker and core, I think is Seattle. I'm sorry, edge linebacker. I'm sorry, edge defensive line, New England. Edge linebacking core is New England. All right, so talk about the secondary. Let's get to that. These secondaries are, I think, top shelf. Top shelf. I don't certainly if you want to say these are best two in the National Football League, you can. I don't know if that's the case. Oh, I guess we're certainly during the course of the year. This year, it's absolutely true. You talk about the Seahawks, definitely in the draft. Did the Ravens get it right, getting Malachi Starks instead of Nick Ravori? Blazing speed, absolutely as well. Playing a lot of him in the nickel. Kobe Bryant with the Seahawks, Reek Wooten and Witherspoon. I mean, as good of a pair of corners maybe as you have right now. Reek Wooten's going to make a lot of money here pretty soon in free agency as well. Julian Love, look, the Seahawks history, the Legion of Boom. We know it. You know, Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and those guys. I don't think these guys are that far away. You know, I think they're really, really good. I think the secondary is really, really good. Witherspoon is definitely an underrated guy in terms of his being as solid on the field as you can get as well. The secondary of the Pats isn't shabby at all. Carlton Davis definitely came over from Detroit, played a couple years in Tampa Bay, very good. Young Craig Hudson is there. Jalen Hawkins as well. Marcus Jones, I think this guy always seems to be around the ball as far as getting his hands up as well. So they play a lot of him as well. And I think Christian Gonzalez, I think the only thing wrong with him, kind of like we talked about with Kenneth Walker, the health of him, I think is the only thing that's stopping him from really being, I mean, a really known, real stud player in the league. This is totally push. These are close. This is the total push, I think, in my opinion, with this guy, special teams. So definitely here, this is probably where I think the biggest disadvantage is to the Seattle Seahawks as well. So the Patriots, Andrews Bagalis, they got a rookie kicker. Well, this guy, I would say, was the best kicker in college last year, best kicker in the draft as well. Julian Ashby, they do have a young long snapper as well that hasn't played, Bryce Berringer. So there's a little bit of youth here. So this game obviously is a huge game, and you're playing for the world championship as well. But I do think that scares me a little bit still, even though they've been very good during the course of the year. So that's fair to say. Well, you shouldn't look at them as you're in the biggest game. You're in the biggest game in America here. I think this is the notches turned up. It's going to matter on these special teams as well. Special teams solid on the other side as well. That's certainly the case here. Rasheen Salit, I think, is fantastic. I think this is why you have such a big decided advantage as well. Jason Myers, a veteran kicker, Michael Dickerson. So I do think that's a decided advantage for the Seahawks in this one over a young New England team here as well. And the two coaches, I think, are top shelf. Absolutely. We all know Mike McDonald is Ravens fans as well. One of the better defensive coaches in the entire league. Certainly, you could say the same thing about the other guy, Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel does this. He's a coach. He's a leader of men as well. He's probably been the guy, I think, in the NFL who's turned the most out of. I used to say it about him a lot in Tennessee, where, okay, he's turned filet mignon out of McDonald's French fries several times. And he's doing the same thing in New England. The difference is it's a little step up, maybe Ruth's Chris in the filet mignon, because he's got a better group of players. The coaching, I think, is close. I'm gonna give the Pats the better coach. Who do I think wins today? I do like Seattle to win. Yeah, actually get back on the screen. Seattle wins this football game. I do think the experience that they have here, this is going to be close to the vest. This is going to be final quarter. I think it is going to come down to that special teams. That's going to matter here. So the special teams advantage that they have in this game is going to matter. I like Seattle in a close game, 21-20, over the Patriots as well. The Patriots are a little green in some areas as well, but it's very, very close. No way this game is a blowout on either side. That would shock me. I do think it's going to be very right. So that is our tail of the tape, as far as that goes. So definitely check out the game. Obviously, everybody watching the Super Bowl today. Couple things here. Let's go real quick. Let's go to some off-season stuff. These are questions that are going around social media and etc. What's going on with the league? Let's fix that there. The NFL Hall of Fame. Did they get it right? Certainly Bill Belichick isn't right, in my opinion. Bill Belichick should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think there's any question about it. I don't see how you as a coach win more Super Bowls than everybody else by a wide margin and not be a first ballot Hall of Fame. So that's just ridiculous to me. It's kind of silly. I understand the Spygate things. Everybody's retroactively getting back at him. One thing is clear, he's not well liked. That's true. And kind of same thing happened with Kraft. I'm not that big on owners getting in anyway, personally, but I mean, certainly the same should be true with him. Kraft, certainly, you talk about a guy who has influence with the league, and sort of like, I think he's the most influential guy in terms of the league and all that. So I do think that's a thing, but as well, I would like to see Suggs in. I would like to see Marshall Yanda in. Certainly, being Ravens fans, I'm all for that. I think those guys are certainly deserving of getting in the Hall of Fame. Uh, that's absolutely true. Where I feel that way. I have no problem with the guys that got in. I just can't. Drew Brees, no question about it. Automatic 300 yards for years. We talk about the 300-yard passing game going into vogue. It's Drew Brees. Certainly first ballot. Larry Fitzgerald, I think if you were a little bit younger than me, maybe, and you never saw Jerry Rice play live and you saw Larry Fitzgerald, you could say he's the greatest receiver. I certainly have him top 5 all time. No doubt about it. Luke Kuechly, no problem with that. I think like the Panthers decidedly got worse after he left. Outstanding middle linebacker, one of the greatest middle linebackers to ever play in the game as well. And Vinatieri, the only argument against Vinatieri is there are some people that say a kicker shouldn't get in. If there is one, he's obviously one. I think he's the greatest kicker in NFL history. Certainly more. It's funny. All that stuff didn't stick on Vinatieri like it did Kraft and Belichick as well. But that's there. And you talk about Roger Craig. I mean, you want to talk about the best player at a position of all time. Maybe the best receiving back in the history of the NFL in terms of that. Maybe the only guy catching passes out of the backfield better than Roger Craig was Marshall Faulk. But I think he's one of the few guys ever to, and certainly he was the first, I think, 1,000 yards rushing and receiving in the same season. So no problem with the guys that got in this year. Unlike last year where I thought it was a little foolishness as well. Eli Manning, we'll see if he gets in. That's the other one. That'll be interesting to see if people vote Eli, and I think he may not as well. Where will Kyler Murray play next year? Kyler, I don't know what they're going to do in Arizona. You have a new coach there, Mike LaFleur. So he may feel differently than Jonathan Gannon did. I kind of think he's got to train him. I think the organization's kind of done with him. I mean, I think the owner's still there and all that other stuff. So they pretty much that's an organizational decision when you sit a quarterback. You don't just You don't peg out all that money and just the coach just randomly just no, it's organizational. So I do think Kyler Murray is going to be elsewhere. I kind of think it's New York. If it's anybody else, I mean the Jets. When I say that, I think that's the team with the biggest need for a quarterback. Certainly they lost out Dante Moore. They may be Ty Simpson and later in the draft, but I think if New York, I definitely keep my eye on that. Miami, I absolutely keep my eye on that. But another team that's certainly moving on from Kyle Murray. They're certainly moving on from their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, as well, who I don't think is going to have much of a market at all in the offseason. Will Lamar Jackson extend before next season? I don't think any parties want any of the drama that we had as well. First offseason as a content creator, every day the thing, Lamar. So they got Harbaugh gone. I think Lamar is going to extend. I think they are going to go ahead and do everything they can to sit down with Lamar and figure this out beforehand. I don't think Lamar wants it. I don't think the Ravens want it. I don't think Jesse Minter coming in. I don't think none of these guys want all this drama. I think it will get done. I don't think there's a lot to think about either. He's certainly now one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, top five. Some people say one. So I don't think there's a lot of drama here as well. How will John Harbaugh and Todd Monken do with their new teams? Let's start with Harbaugh first. I think the Giants are going to get better, a lot better with John Harbaugh as a coach. I don't think there's any question about it. The Giants already have players. So they are not, one of the reasons he went there is something there. I think he likes what he sees from Jackson Dart. He kind of said it. He kind of likes, he's got Cam Scatterbo there. Malik Neighbors is, you get him back healthy. They're going to have a draft there and get some more players on offense. He likes some of the guys on defense. I think there are players there. So I think like the fact that they were so bad, I think is the thing he feels he can come in and turn it around as well. He's already called out the Eagles. I do think they will be at least a marginal playoff team with John Harbaugh as coach. I'd be surprised if they were any worse than that right away as well. Todd Monken is going to be very fascinating because I think he's a pretty good offensive coach, but he's laying down the law real quick. He's laid down the law real quick already with Shedeur. He's laid down the law with Jim Schwartz. That's why he resigned. I got a feeling. I put a post out. I was like, I think we're going to see the real Todd Monken here as well. I think his offensive system. I do think he believes in Shedeur. Else he wouldn't have taken it. I do think that. I do think that's one of the reasons why they hired him. Do you think you can get somewhere with Shedeur? Believe he does. I think he's going to cater things to the way Shedeur does it. That's kind of how his system is. He doesn't have a system. He kind of tailors himself to the player. So I do think it'll be good for him. But when I say lay down the law, he's already said it's going to be an open job. So that's what I mean. You see his toughness come through already. As well. I don't think the Browns are going to be very good. They have a lot of work to do. I mean, that would take a lot on that roster as well. Will Max Crosby get traded in the offseason? I'm not so sure. I think I haven't heard him say he wants to get out of it. I will say this. I see a lot of Lyle Alzado in him. I see a lot of Howie Long in him. He's a Raider. So I think I haven't heard him say he wants to leave. Like Myles Garrett's been actually traded 4 or 5 times. Right. So I haven't really heard that with Max Crosby that he wants to leave. Part of him might be curious. I think getting Mendoza matters to him as well. But I do think what the offers that the Raiders get are going to make a difference. If somebody gives a first round pick for him, they got to consider that. They got to consider that. If you get a high enough draft pick, which I think is definitely possible, I think you actually have to consider that as well. I hope the Ravens are in on it. That's more hope than analysis. As a Ravens fan, that's exactly the type of player that you need, a Max Crosby on defense, because the spot that the Ravens have is pass rush as well. So definitely check that out as well. All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I was just checking out the Maryland game as well. Definitely do so. Looking decent today. We'll get back to it as well. So shout out to all of you out there, and thank you for making this a good football season with Ravers. We appreciate you. We cover the NFL here, our larger NFL, the Ravens, obviously, as well. Definitely, too, I want to say, in the offseason, we don't go anywhere, all right? So we're going to start talking this week on the podcast, NBA All-Star Game. We're going to do NBA midseason awards as well. We're going to obviously go state of the franchise, spring training as baseball season, pitchers and catchers report this week as well. So definitely we're going to be talking about all that stuff. And also we continue with the NFL, even in the offseason, mock draft targets, etc., free agency. We're going to do that. So some people think, I just feel the need to say, sometimes we think the football season is over. That's not, no. We're still here, even in the offseason as well. Thank you very much for joining us here with Ravori Sports Podcast. I will see you after the game for the post game as well. Enjoy the Super Bowl.